That's pretty incredible, right? Hamas has just been engaged in a 2-year war that we just announced the first stage of a peace plan to a few moments ago. And ISIS? These are incredible things to say.
Here's Kristi Noem on Erin Burnett on CNN, and they're talking about Antifa, and, well, take a look.
And Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security actually took that further.
This network of Antifa is just as sophisticated as MS-13, as TDA, as ISIS, as Hezbollah, as Hamas, as all of them. They are just as dangerous.
That's pretty incredible, right? Hamas has just been engaged in a 2-year war that we just announced the first stage of a peace plan to a few moments ago. And ISIS? These are incredible things to say. And obviously, I'm not going to sit here and defend anybody who considers themselves part of an Antifa movement, such that it is. But such that it is the operative part of that sentence. Antifa is far from a major sophisticated terror organization like Hezbollah, Hamas, or ISIS. In fact, it's not even like far-right groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, which have had national leaders, unlike Antifa. There is no organized hierarchy to the group, and according to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, compared to right-wing extremists, Antifa-linked violence is rare and limited.
Shermichael, I'm definitely going to get you smacked around in the hall this week because I got to do some criticism there. You can say whatever you want, but I mean the sleight of hand is rather extraordinary with her. Now, I'll grant that Antifa is probably not like Hezbollah in that they weren't sitting on like a stockpile of 100,000 rockets. I'll grant you that much. She then connects it to that the right wing and the Proud Boys and all that stuff. But why do they so consistently go out of their way to minimize not just the damage that Antifa is doing in places like Portland and Seattle, Portland, where they burned down the federal courthouse several times. Not only that, but then also pretend that there isn't a network there when we know at this point there is. That's what Kristi Noem, that's what the hearing was that she was at the White House for.
Well, look, I'll just bring up what former FBI Director Christopher Wray stated. And I know President Trump is not a big fan of Christopher Wray these days for transparency, but he said something I think is very poignant to this discussion. He said that Antifa was a problem, and that the FBI, under his leadership, was looking into the fact that they were spreading propaganda, that there appeared to be some type of an organized operational setting. Someone was funding the organization. Someone was funding the spread of said propaganda, particularly targeting our youth. And so I don't know if you can necessarily dismiss this, because a lot of my friends on the left cited Christopher Wray when he made comments about crime being down nationally. But should we not all of a sudden not believe Christopher Wray on Antifa? I think there's something here, Dave, and I'm not opposed to the federal government looking into this. And just quickly here, I'll say I really believe that we're in an ideological sort of civil war in our country in terms of our customs of behavior, our values, and what does the United States of America look like in the next 25 to 30 years. And I think there are some people who radically view what this country should be. They don't like the Constitution. They don't like capitalism. They don't like anything that made this country great. And if those of us, even if you're not a conservative, maybe you're left-leaning, if you love and value all of those things, you absolutely must be opposed to this. And I think looking into Antifa is a place to start.